WTIM.
You're listening to WTIM, your information station. Here on the morning show, we're brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville as well. My name is Grayson Bauman. Joining me in this segment are Master Gardeners with the U of I Extension. I've got Gwen Podesky and Sandy Klein with me here this morning. Good morning to the both of you.
How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for asking, and glad to have you guys back around because now we're feeling like it's spring. It's getting to be that time, and things are going to be ramping up a little bit for folks' gardens and raised beds, whatever the case might be. One great way to start that off and might help out is your annual plant sale that you guys have coming up. Can you give me the details, the dates, and what you got going on with that?
Certainly. So the plant sale takes place first Saturday in May, which is going to be May 3rd this year at the extension office. We are moving it. We're in the extension office, but at the back building. There's a building in the back of the parking lot. We feel like that's a better area for folks. And we have a nice new empty building after clearing out much stuff. So we will be able to put it inside the building a little bit if weather permits or weather doesn't permit. So, but it'll be 9:00 a.m. until sold out. And people do come early. So if you want the best selection of things, most of our plants will be perennials. There will be some shrubs, probably, some herbs, ground covers, just the kinds of things that we're digging from this area. So we know that they pretty much grow here and do okay.
We do not usually are we having any vegetable plants?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think anybody has
people
talked
ask
about
that,
they
so.
will always ask about vegetable plants. And I think the high school, Taylorville High School, still
Does that,
does
yeah.
a vegetable plant. So you may call out to the high school or go online and see, because I think their ag department does that.
At the same time that our plant sale is going on out of doors, inside the extension area, the American Legion Auxiliary of Stonyton is selling potted plants for Mother's Day, and they're beautiful large annuals, petunias, geraniums, verbenias.
Calibrachoas. They have all sorts. Do they ever have any fuchsias? I don't remember.
Yes,
they do have fuchsias.
And they come from the Nokomis Flower and Garden Center. And they are beautiful plants.
That's exciting. So for Mother's Day, we've got potted plants that will also be available.
Yes.
But we've also got things to get that yard in check. And
the perennials.
Right. So Sandy, do you take early purchases on those?
Yes.
Do you not?
Yes. Somebody can call us at, you can call me at 217-820-1537 if they want to order a potted plant. And they're $20. And the proceeds of this fundraiser for us goes to the honor flight.
Yes.
That we help sponsor.
Right.
We donate to the
local folks that go there.
To the honor flight.
Yeah.
I was going to say, and that's always, I know that they did a couple trips even just last year, and what a nice thing to be able to do for those that.
And that's all through volunteer, so donations.
Yeah.
Right. So we're glad to partner with them. I think it's kind of a fun time for everybody, and they get a chance to, get those accent plants because yes, your perennials and shrubs and trees and things in your yard are the backbone of your garden, but it's always nice to have those splashes of color, maybe around your entryways or porches or decks or something. So this is a great chance to do that. And and I should mention too, we do have often house plants.
Yes, we do. And these hanging pots don't have to remain hanging. You can take those plants out and put them in your yard or your garden area if you want to.
So when I think, a bouquet of flowers is going to cost you somewhere in the $20, $30 range. If you get a nice one, and all of a sudden now I've got a nice potted plant, I bring that to Mom. I say, hey, look, all right, Mom, I went a step above and all I had to do was go buy it. That sounds pretty good to me. So
I think it's so too. Right. So how many do you want?
I might need at least one. I can tell you that much. Mother's Day coming up by the next time you guys are here, it'll be here in no
Well,
time
yeah.
flat. So
And show up, just come to the extension office there, or the area at the back of the office,
Mhm.
and pick out your plant and take it home.
So the annual plant sale going on May 3rd.
Mhm.
It'll be in that back building, 9 a.m. until you guys are sold out.
Yeah.
We usually are, because
Oh,
we
yeah.
top our prices at $5. So people,
And we're sold out too.
and you usually are sold
Yeah.
out too. So it's usually a busy morning for
Yeah.
everybody, but it's a chance to really get, and while we're selling the plants, we usually like to talk with people about care for the plants and answer their questions. At this plant sale, you won't see things in bloom like you do. You have to understand, when you go to nurseries and garden centers, they have brought those up in greenhouses and cold houses a lot of times, and so they're blooming. You're able to see the color and see these other things. Some of our things you won't, you're perhaps, but as I've said, and I did an article a while back on the leftovers, we have 2 little gardens in the back of the building that are the leftover gardens, and one of them has an Annabelle hydrangea, some hostas, and some ribbon grass.
They're
and,
beautiful.
yeah, they just, they were the ones that people didn't buy.
Yeah.
So
My thing too is, okay, if I've got all these master gardeners, I got all these folks that know what they're talking about. All I got to do is say, well, what am I looking at right here? And all right, okay, I can, you can kind of
Exactly.
use that
And
imagination a little bit.
There's master gardeners there to tell you all about it.
Yeah.
Where to
Right,
plant it.
right now
You
we
know,
do
what it
take, and
requires.
we will take credit cards. As far as I know, we're set up to take credit cards. I don't know with you, Sandy, if you are. or
No,
not.
we don't. Just
Okay.
cash and checks. We'll take a check.
But we're topped out at $5 for the annual
the-
plant sale.
No, we're for our plant sale.
Mhm.
Yes, for them, there
And
it's
for $20 for
yeah,
the potted
$20
plants.
for the potted.
So you can come out and
Hanging.
support the Honor Flight
Yeah.
and the American Legion in Stonington, you said.
Yes.
Or you can get
or we can support the master gardeners, and we do these in order to be able to afford programming that we do. We had a nice photography program last year, and the program over in Father Dalby's Forest in Kincaid. So we've got programs like that. We do maintain our help desk throughout, starting May 1st, and throughout the month of August. We will have the help desk, and we often need resources for that desk. That's what,
as
a lot
well
of our
as
stuff
the help desk, we have the farmers market starting up in May
Mhm.
also.
So we've got dates for the farmers market set. We're usually at the Taylorville Farmers Market twice a month. We've got a big orange tent. We had a big discussion because we thought we were only going to be able to get a replacement tent of navy blue, but now if we pay a little upcharge, we can get orange. So I think we're going to try to stick with the orange.
I remember you telling me about that. It seemed like there was a battle there between the orange and blue a little bit, but the orange, it sticks out.
I think it does, and people see it, and they're able. So that, again, you can talk with people live there from 9 to noon at farmers markets. I think our first one, and I don't see if I've got my phone
Bring my
calendar going here.
And that was going to be the first and third day, or first and third weekend, wasn't it, of the month?
Well, I think this month it's going to be May 10th and May 24th.
Okay.
Is
May
what I'm
May
thinking.
10th.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
May
think.
10th and May 24th.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of plants. There's a lot of things going on right now for the U of I extension. And when it comes to keeping some of these things going, how active are you guys having to be in terms of keeping these plants watered and everything else? How, if you've got all these things going on that we're working
Well,
on
we
here.
have to dig them first.
You do have to dig.
Yeah,
them.
we have that's
We
a
dig.
job for Thursday. So if anybody'd like to
We-
come to my house, they can help dig.
Dig, and then we pot
And just
everything, and then we water.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So
That's-
I'm usually babysitting plants in my
And then
driveway and under my grape arbor for
Then we
a couple of weeks.
we pack them all up and bring them into the extension, so they're ready to place on the tables. But we have to water again,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially if we don't get any rain.
Yeah.
If we don't get any rain, we have to make
Yeah,
sure
we
we
really
water
do.
them.
I was gonna say it sounded like a lot of back end. It sounds like a lot of back end work. That
A lot of
gets put into it.
preparation.
Yes.
Yeah, there is
absolutely.
a lot of preparation. We, another thing we always try to do is we get labels. The extension office staff helps us with that include the common name, the botanical name, whether it's sun or shade exposure,
Mhm.
and the color of the blooms, and how big the plant, or how to space the plant, or how big the plant will get, whichever way you want to look at that. So
Well,
People like to know that. I've had people come back before. Oh, why did you sell her this grass? I'm like, well, she liked it, and I told her what it would look like. So okay.
And it's not my fault it spread like wildfire. I told you. So the annual plant sale coming up on May 3rd, we'll be selling plants with the Master Gardeners, topped out at $5. I think that's unbelievable there. Even some house plants there as well. And then we also have $20 potted plants coming up in support of the Honor Flight and over at the American Legion in Stonington. You said the back building, 9 a.m. until we're sold out. And so it sounds like we sell out pretty regularly.
That's the plant sale. And then the hanging baskets are actually in the auditorium of the office. So.
In the auditorium.
Yeah, and it's 1120 North Webster.
So that is a look at some of the things coming up with the Master Gardeners with the U of I extension. We'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about some different things as well. We've got a show and tell as well for our viewers out there. And so we'll come back around with more of the morning show here on your information station.
WTIM. WTIM.
You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. Joining me in this segment, back around, Master Gardeners with the U of I Extension, Gwen Podesky and Sandy Klein. And there's so much going on right now for you guys that we're getting prepared for. What else can you tell me about different things with either the U of I Extension, the plant sale, or some other things that we've got our hands in right now?
Well, of course, this is spring, so you're seeing lots of things, and some things are really pretty and they're flowers, and some things like my little show and tell here. My kids always used to say that mom was always late for everywhere she went because she stopped and pulled weeds in the driveway. Well, I pulled this morning. It's some type of tree that I don't want where it was. And I just want to remind people that the time to pull trees is go out and scout now and look for trees in your flower bed. Don't wait until they're 3 foot tall and have a 1 inch and then wonder why you can't kill it.
Yeah.
If that tree is not where you want it, then this is the time to pull it. When they're little like this, after a rain, you can get right down to the bottom of the root. So, and it's also a good time to be spotting. The time is passing because everything else is greening up, but it's a good time to pull bush honeysuckle, and you're going to find a lot of them. If you look in the woods now, that green undergrowth that comes on about February 28th or so, those things are a problem. They're a very invasive plant. So
I feel
it's time to get those pulled from your garden.
I was going to say, I feel like I might have even seen some of that just this last weekend where nothing else seems green, but that's bush honeysuckle.
Yes. And it needs to go.
And
it needs to be removed.
Is that one of those things that just accidentally got introduced, or is that something that we introduced thinking we were going to be doing a whole lot of good?
I think many years ago it was introduced as an ornamental plant of some kind, and it has escaped. The other big one that you're seeing now, and I was driving into her. I wasn't driving. My friend was driving. I don't take pictures while I drive, but my friend was driving, and I took a photo of all around Springfield. As you're driving around Springfield, the Bradford pears are terrible. And that is, it's an invasive species. We all loved them. It was going to be the answer, prettier than dogwood, whatever. And what has happened is those trees have escaped, and they weren't supposed to be fertile, but then they started introducing other types. And they crossbred and they became fertile. They have thorns that are about 1.5 inches long. The ones that are coming up all over the.
Really? I don't know if and I'm sure I've seen them, just probably didn't recognize what it was. But it's interesting to me how many of those things get out and about, even like fish species or things like that, that, I kept them as a pet, and then there was a hurricane, and all of a sudden we can't get rid of these things.
Well, and you have to be very, very careful, because they get, this is the answer to this is the answer to that. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, this wasn't the answer to that. This is the problem.
Yeah.
So I'm just scrolling on my phone, seeing if I can find the picture. Of course, there it is. Look at this. Look at that.
Yep. They're a soft tree, the Bradford pear, and any kind of storm comes along, they're going to be stripped. They're when they first were introduced, they were very beautiful, ornamental. Because they were kind of cone shaped, and people bought them because they were so pretty and nicely shaped. But then they're just not. Once the wind hits them, they become very ugly.
Right. And so as a result, they started breeding.
Yeah.
They started breeding ones that would not do that didn't have that branching pattern. And that's, I think, when the trouble really began.
Because all of a sudden now
they became fertile, because, many things are like that. They've got to be, and the trade does this type of thing to keep things from being that problem, but then they improve on it. So
and they are in bloom right now.
Right now you will see them there. So if you go into the woods, you'll see them too.
And the white crab apples are in bloom now. There's a lot. Everything's in bloom now.
I mean, we've got a passed on the time to do crabgrass preventer, because the forsythias are pretty much done, and I think most of the magnolias are on the downhill slide. Native red buds are blooming right now and are just gorgeous. They have got a lot of power. I'm happy. I'm going to get my azaleas to bloom. Last year they got hit by a hard freeze. Everybody's did. and they're both
Mine is about ready to.
About ready.
No, it's ready to leave.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, it's a very early blooming.
Gotcha.
Azalea.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's the
Guys,
first
That's
thing that
really cool.
blooms, and it's
That's
and
cool.
Anyway,
other than the
that's-
bush honeysuckle and some Bradford pears, we want to see some of these things.
We do
coming
want to
up.
see some of these things, and if you're lucky enough to, within the next month, by the time we see you again, the native dogwoods, a lot of the Cornus Floridas, and the Cherokee Chiefs, and all of those will be in bloom, and they are a beautiful
I
addition
am
to the landscape.
excited for spring and for the green and the colors and everything like
and the warm
that.
and the warm weather.
warm
and the
weather's
warm
in there,
weather,
too.
and no wind. Please, let's be away with.
I know the wind's been killing us lately, and apparently today it'll be doing the same thing.
I
So
guess.
Sandy Klein and Gwen Podesky joining us here, Master Gardeners with the U of I Extension on the morning show here on your information station, WTIM.
WTIM.